We're going. What's up, Chase for the Chip? This is your host, the Commissioner. We're doing a little episode Confiding the Commissioner. We got our guest here. It's Jones for the Chip right here.
What's up?
It's the boy in the flesh. Last week, John had a stinker, straight up. He went 2 for 5, so that didn't look well. I went 5 for 5. Call it down the line.
5 for 5. I mean, that's dead on, and I only like it because you picked me mainly, but you know it was good picks, John. I don't know what happened.
Bad picks.
You didn't show out for the guess.
No, it was bad picks because Al also went 5 for 5 the first week. Steve went 4 for 5, and then you show up 2 for 5. It's kind of like your fantasy team. Not looking good.
Oh. See, I like John's team. His record's no good, but we'll get there when we get there.
We will get to that.
But I like the team, John. I don't want to be you.
We gotta shoot some shots here.
Yeah.
So that puts me at 15-20 on the season for predictions, and that puts the guest at 10 for 15. So hopefully I can keep this streak going, and hopefully Austin has some dog shit picks.
I'm going 500. I'm gonna bring us. I'm gonna bring us 500. Yeah, we're going 15-15, so we're going 5-0.
Well, let's just get right into it. Let's go right into the predictions then. And I'm gonna save our game for last. This is actually spicy. I was just talking to Austin. It's crazy that the random guest wheel selected you for a week that we play each other.
I thought it was crazy as well. I looked down. I was like, oh fuck. Here we
go.
And then I went to the matchup, and I was like, oh boy.
It's a big matchup.
Yeah, it is.
So we'll go right into first matchup: Baked Vet versus Coys. Who you got and why?
So this is my Are You For Real Bowl between these two, because I'm not sure that either of these teams are actually good. I know they're both 4-1. I know they're both 4-1, but I don't really love either of these teams. Baked Vet, if you could just hop off fucking Devonta Smith. He is so unreliable. He's so unreliable.
He's number 2.
You got Gabe. You dropped Gabe Davis. Why would you drop Gabe Davis?
No, Gabe Davis is
okay. All right, so you got smart. You started Gabe Davis. All right, so I appreciate that. I was upset by that earlier, but I mean, you ride the Eagles too much. It's too
up and heavy Eagles.
There's too many weapons there. Everybody gets fed.
The only one that truly gets fed every week is Jalen Hurts.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why I got him.
He scores a touchdown every week.
Every week, the most consistent 25.
But I will say, Big Vet has everyone healthy. Coys, you're down a starting running back. You're facing potential injuries across the board with Mike Evans and Travis Kelce.
Deshaun Watson, I know he's pretty banged up, and he's going against San Fran.
Christian McCaffrey had a questionable by him yesterday. You never know with him. But he's amazing when he does play, so you always got to roll the dice there. I think I think Big Vet pulls this one out. I think he goes 5-1. I think Coys falls to 4-2.
That's fair, and I also have Baked Vet winning.
Ooh,
I got
spicy.
Baked Vet winning against Coys. Watson didn't practice Monday. I haven't checked to see if he practiced Wednesday, but the guy was banged up, and now you're going against San Fran, and even if he does play, do you really expect a great game out of the guy?
No. The matchups, too. The matchups favor
absolutely
Baked Vet. Christian McCaffrey going against a really good Cleveland defense. Russell Wilson going against a good KC defense. Deshaun Watson going against a good San Fran defense. And then you got Devonta Smith, DeAndre Swift going against the Jets. They've been banged up.
And Dallas Goedert. That's Dallas 3 Goedert. Philly guys against the Jets. Not all 3 of them. No. That's why you're scoring 120 every week.
And that's what I had right here. I said, if he can make the right roster moves this week, I think he can win it.
Absolutely. But that's why I'm picking him too. I'm hoping he watched this video and you smarten up, because your team's not scoring, and this is why. Yeah, the Eagles are great, and one of them are bound to go off there.
Yeah. I mean, you got Brian Robinson on your bench. He's a top 10 running back. You got Jake Ferguson. He's a top 10 tight end. What are we doing with these fellas?
I don't get it either. I get it like, one of them will go off, But it's like, what if A.J. Brown has a stud week, and then you get none of the Eagles point? Yeah. Like nobody's going to eat.
That's the most likely scenario.
Absolutely.
I don't know. So yeah,
I'm almost talking myself out of this one.
Yeah.
Unless you make a lineup switch.
You know, we talk about it.
If you make a lineup switch, you're gonna win this. Make the smart one. I'm with you 100%.
Yeah, don't make us be wrong.
I gotta go baked vet still. I'm sticking with my guns.
Don't bake vet.
So then next up, what is the? Oh, I gotta slide this over. All right. So next up, we got Touch of Downs, Allen Degenerates. Who you got?
All right. So I will give the prediction first on this one. I got Al on this one.
I also have Allen.
We might just fucking go right down the line. You know, Al's running backs. They have some tough matchups. Well, you know, touch of downs. They have some favorable matchups, but I don't like Dak.
I don't like.
Matthew Stafford's going to dry up at some point this year. I don't know when, but he's an old man. He's throwing the ball 55 times a game. Yeah, no, he's slinging that thing.
He's slinging that thing.
I think they're going to have to run it eventually, but we'll see. I could be wrong. It is working. Playing good. They play really well, and they got enough receivers to fucking feed everybody. But, you know, I like Sam Laporta more than I like Kyle Pitts. I like Amon-Ra more than I like Marquise. Obviously, Tyreek Hill's a monster, and he's going to put, I think, 40-plus on Carolina this week.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's just going to run all over the field. We have nobody.
What happened to the Carolina defense? They were so young and sprung up last year, and it's great.
Yeah, and then C.J. Henderson got hurt. J.C. Horn got hurt.
Okay, so it was injuries.
Shaq Thompson, the leader and best middle linebacker we got hurt. Yep. 2 D linemen got hurt. So now we really got Brian Burns and Jeremy Chin, and then that's about it. You got some bums at cornerback. Watch for Foreman out there. He's such a bum.
Well, trust me, I get it. The Giants' starting 2 cornerbacks are rookies, and we stuck Adoree Jackson in the slot.
Yeah.
So our 2 outside guys are rookies, and you mix that with injury bug on the offensive line the Giants have had. You know, you might as well throw me and you out there to block for Daniel Jones.
Dude, these dudes are bums.
It's really bad.
It's going to be exactly what we all sat and watched last week in Steven's living room. That's what's going to happen again this week, and it's not going to be pretty. Yeah, it's just not. But yeah, overall, I think I like Al here.
Yeah, I think I like Al too. And you know, I talked a lot of sweetness on Al. I said Al's team was hyper dependent on the Giants' success. He's made a lot of moves since then. Honestly, he went into manager mode and he made trades. He made moves. Granted, his quarterback situation is not great. He's got Dan Jones and Josh Dobbs.
Yeah, that's tough.
A very tough QB situation you're in, especially with Daniel Jones not even know if he's going to play.
Yeah.
Maybe he sneaks Tyrod. Maybe I go grab Tyrod just to see Al's downfall. I don't know. I might have to.
I mean, he had Zach Moss on his. I don't know if he started him last week, but he's on his bench now. That guy has been going off. You might be loyal to the Giants to a fault. I
think it's kind of like a Steven situation where Al hasn't been as fortunate as Steven with the record and winning these ones. Mm-hmm. But Al's record's showing. I think it is loyal to a fault. I think he drafted with his heart, and he's paying for it a bit.
You got to drop him. I had to drop a bunch of Panthers. It's just not happening this year. We suck.
So I got, for my notes, I got, Jefferson's banged up for a touch of downs. I got there's still no Kyler Murray because Kyler Murray sat there this whole season for him, and even if he comes back now, is Dobbs gonna have what's gonna happen?
Yeah, I wouldn't. And would I take Kyler over Dak or Stafford? Probably not. I mean, he's good for a backup, but he's not going to come back to the very end of the year, maybe.
The one good thing that touchdowns does have going for him is the Chargers' defense isn't great.
No.
So Dak Dak does feast on bad defenses, but when it comes to the good ones, he falters.
Shits down his legs.
So he's got that going for him. But T. Higgins in the lineup,
that's bad.
That's terrible.
That's really bad. T. Higgins is bad. You got to do better than that. There's better on the waiver wire still.
Yeah. Make a trade. You got good Jacobs is turning it up. ETN. You got good running backs. Rashad White, I think, is the starter for Tampa. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He's got good running backs. So make a trade for a wide receiver.
I think Rashad, splits touches too. Unfortunately,
so it's a running back by committee deal.
Mm-hmm.
Jefferson, I heard on a podcast today that he's going to be out for 4 or 5 weeks.
Oof.
So you're going to have to stick him on the IR. This is already horrendous touch of downs team.
Yeah.
You need wide receivers, man. And you might have to make a move with one of your good running backs and grab a core of guys, 2 decent wide receivers, because your wide receiver core is not you're not gonna win games.
No, not like that.
That's why I take Allen Degenerates.
Nah, I like Al's team. He's got some guys.
He's made smart moves.
Yeah,
he's made smart moves.
Yeah. That's what it's about in fantasy. You got to make the moves. You got to go pick up the guys. You can't sit with guys every week that continue to not
the
perform.
golden handcuffs we talk about all the time.
Yeah, just because the guy has a name that you know, or you have an analyst that you read about that liked the guy, but every week he goes out and he gets 4 fucking targets, catches one of them for 10 yards, and he puts up the 3 points. That everybody's gonna have a guy that puts up 3 points, 5 points, 6. But when you continually put out the same guy that's doing that over and over again, that's when you got to make a change.
Absolutely. That brings us to the next one: Riggy Riggs versus Middleburg football team.
Okay, this one's a spicy one.
This one is my dog shit bowl of the week.
So we disagree.
This is my dog shit bowl of the week.
We disagree on this one.
Middleburg football team has shown time and time. He got his win against me, but that's because my team shit the bed finally one time. He still only scored like a 132. He beat me by half a point or whatever.
Yeah, his scored a ton. The reason why I'm going to say I like Tanner's team is he's got a squad that week in and week out is going to go out there and score consistently. He's not going to score a fuck ton of points unless Justin Fields goes out and scores 40. And he's got Cooper Kupp back now, so maybe. But it's tough. I don't know. He's got a good squad, but I also really like... I'm not going to say this because I really like Riggy Riggs' team as well. I think he's got some studs.
Talked highly on Riggy Riggs' teams. I think Riggy Riggs' teams, the fact that he is the record he is so sad because it's like that is such a good fantasy squad he drafted.
I mean, what is he in points? He's eighth. He's eighth in points.
Still, so not great.
Not great, but he's also dealt with more injuries than anybody in the league.
Yeah,
he's been making moves week in and week out.
I tell you what, Middleburg football team's creeping up with between Anthony Richardson and Joe Burrow. Like this guy's been dealing with injuries too. Myers got hurt there for a bit. Khalil Herbert, he's
been dealing with it.
Yeah, he's been dealing with it too. That's why it's my dog shit bowl of the week. These teams are shambles.
I just can't. It's going to be a close one. It's going to be within a point. It's going to be within 2 points.
You think so?
Yeah, John has tough matchups. Baker versus Detroit is tough. Aiden Hutchinson, I had to watch him last week. That guy's a fucking freak.
He's the real deal.
He's unreal. He's so good. A.J. Brown versus Sauce Gardner is going to be a tough matchup there. They may have to go elsewhere, or they may hope that Devonta Smith's having one of those games where you just can't not throw him the ball. But I will say, Debo, he's going against Cleveland, but I think Ayuk's going to take so much attention, and then Debo's going to slip in one of these games and just have a big game, and I think this might be the one.
That's fair. Yeah. I'll double down on the Debo. I think this San Francisco squad is up there with like the 2007 Patriots offense. Like they're the real deal. Brock Purdy is the guy, honestly. And it could be the system he's in that works for him. I don't know.
Yeah, everybody always says it's the system with Brock Purdy. It's Kyle Shanahan. Anybody could play in that offense. Well, they're to a point, but they had Jimmy G in there. He played good. He won games, but clearly they didn't love him. They had Trey Lance in there. He did not look good.
Yeah.
I mean, they haven't put Sam Darnold out there for a reason. They like Brock Purdy, and Brock Purdy makes good decisions. He's not flashy.
He's smart.
He's not running all over the field.
It reminds you of Tom Brady. All I sniff is a 49ers dynasty cooking up.
Because
they're young, too.
They just they plug and play. It doesn't matter who's on the team. It's like the Patriots, right? That when the guy's no good anymore, get rid of him. But they just roll on to the next guy in the system.
That system is so good, and you got Christian McCaffrey. It's the 07 Patriots. I could really sniff it, dude.
They're really good.
They're that
and they
good.
don't play that many hard teams, to be honest. Like, if you look at their schedule, it's not a hard schedule.
That's true, but even when they play the tough teams, they just dominate.
I mean, Dallas was a good team.
The Giants looked better against the 49ers than Dallas did.
Yeah.
Like, we are horrendous.
Right. They just cooked them. I mean, they just rolled over them.
It was tough, so I agree with you. The 49ers are next level, but I'm taking Riggy Riggs in this one.
All right, well, I was a little bit hesitant. Cooper Kupp struggles against Arizona. He averages 8.6 targets, 64 yards, 0.4 touchdowns, which, for a lot of guys is decent, but when you go to Cooper Kupp, who's getting 14 targets, 100 yards, at least a touchdown.
You think he's going to have that type of consistency, though, with Puka?
I think that, I don't think
You think they're both going to be that...
They're going to monopolize each other a little bit, but I think that right now they're throwing the ball 55, 60 times a game. They're going to continue to do that for a few more weeks. You're going to ride it out now. When it starts to be the Cooper Kupp show, once he's good and healthy and he's locked into this offense, that's when you ditch Puka to your bench or to your flex. But I got the football team on this one.
All right, so that's our first
disagreement.
The first separation that could change a little something in the final standings. Well, yeah, we were talking about it, and Middleborough football team, I do feel like it's going to go on a slump here. I think they got hot. They're another team that hasn't been able to score. I don't think Cooper Kupp coming off IR really, I don't know.
He's a top receiver when he's healthy.
Yeah, he is. But I think then some of those points that he's going to gain you are going to be shed from what Puka was already getting you.
You're going to have to make a move. You're going to have to shed him early for somebody that believes in Puka.
You got to make a move on that. And if you do, I don't think trading for Puka or making a move is bad for the guy who gets Puka.
No,
he's still going to get his. You don't want that confiding, same thing I were talking to Steven. You don't want so many dudes on one team. Not all mouths can't get fed all the time.
At least not at the same position always.
You might have games where they all ate, but there's not every game is like that.
I mean, wide receiver running back combo from the same team is fine, but two wide receivers is tough. There's only
for sure, exactly
so many mouths to feed.
So then that brings us to the second to last game. We got Calendar versus Snow Bunnies, and Calendar is still winless. He's the only winless team. Snow Bunnies is hot.
Yeah, so the one game before this was your dog shit bowl of the week. This is mine.
Okay.
I think Snow Bunnies is just going to fucking torch Asa this week. He's just going to roll right over him. Brock Purdy is going to score big again this week against the Carolina Panthers. Josh Allen's coming off a game where he doesn't look good, and if you know anything about Josh Allen, he's here, and then he's here, and then he's here. He doesn't have a ton of bad games in a row. Usually after a bad game, he comes out and he's pissed, and he fucking runs over guys. I mean, you just got good matchups all over the field this week.
No, he really does.
He's going to score a ton of points. He might put up the most points this week. Probably second most. He's going to be up there. And Asa, your team is... It's going to get better in a few weeks with JT and Derrick Henry. Those guys are both going to come alive as it gets colder. Lamar is going to continue to go, but Tua's going to fade. CeeDee's been Amari's been Cam Akers is meh.
Yeah, and I think it's almost so meh on Snyder's team that I feel like he's almost got to embrace the bottom status almost at this point. Unless you got to make some trades, you got to make something's got to happen, dude, because this is not working.
I think he's been making moves, if I'm not wrong. I can't say. No, not many. So only 7. You're gonna have to make a few more moves.
I'm not even just talking about free agent marketing. I'm almost thinking you might have to sell on some of the guys that because it is hard to I drafted this guy. I don't want to let go of him unless he's a late round dude.
Yeah.
You might have to maybe shop your CeeDee Lambs or Amari Coopers and try to make or one of your running backs or Christian Watson
Yeah, I think Christian Watson's going to come alive. If you want to give him over to me, I'll take him. But
he's got to do something, though.
Yeah,
he's got to do something. I don't know what the answer is. I'm not telling you to shop CeeDee Lamb. I'm saying, in that realm of thinking, you got to, think that, Tua has looked great. Obviously, Lamar Jackson's played okay. Yeah. He's doing his thing. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Do you maybe trade a quarterback to bolster? What do you think here? He's 0-5.
You need wide receivers, frankly. Your wide receivers are weak.
Right.
So maybe you bundle a couple of shitty wide receivers, or maybe bundle a couple of shitty running backs, and you get a wide receiver.
Right.
Or you shed one of your upper wide receivers and a lower running back, and you get a top tier wide receiver because somebody's needing a running back.
Yeah, because he's got Michael Wilson. Who the fuck is that guy?
I have no fucking idea. Who that guy
Zay
is.
Jones. I mean, he's
been horrible this year. I dropped him
he was drafted pretty high in that wide receiver class, right? And he hasn't done shit.
He's really bad.
I mean, he might get more targets now than Mike. Whatever the guy's face is. Mike Williams is hurt.
But
Palmer's in there before him.
They got.
Yeah, I don't know.
They got options.
But yeah, I agree. I got Snow Bunnies taking this one, so we're pretty much down the line, except for the Riggy Riggs Monday night Middleborough football team game. I just think I'll see Ace on the calendar at this point. I'm just gonna say it. I mean, he's got to win. I would say 2 to 3 games to not come in last.
Yeah.
But even then, you might come in last with 3 wins.
Can we just take a little trip down, touch it down schedule first? I just need to see who he's playing.
Sure.
Is there a way just to see the schedule?
Yeah. Go to league.
Where's it? League.
Yep, and then go to schedule.
Schedule. All right.
And you can scroll. So we're at week 6.
All right. So touch it downs. Obviously, this week I have you losing, so that puts you at another loss.
7.
Week 7.
You
are playing against Tanner.
Yep.
You're probably going to lose that one.
Oh, no, he might snag one there. He might snag
You're playing against Asa in Week 8. That'll be like...
that's a dog shit bowl, dude.
You know what else is funny? Is that the Panthers and the Bears are playing Thursday Night Football Week 8, which is also going to be one of the dog shit bowls of the year. So you guys can mirror that. But, you know, if Asa can take that one, he gets... he gains ground, and now you guys are sitting at the same, and it's a matter of who wants to do what. So it's going to be close. I'm very torn between Asa and Michael. I think Michael's going to be on the calendar, personally.
I don't know.
But I think so. I think Michael's going to be on that calendar.
Yeah, well, all right. Well, I don't know. I still got Snyder, but we got one more game I think we got to go over here.
Yeah.
Jones for the chip versus Captain Commish. This is the game of the week for me. You coming off the record-breaking score. 220. What was it? No, 236.
236.
236.
Yeah, insert fireworks. Insert balloons, confetti, whatever you want to insert here.
That stat line was crazy.
Flowers.
I mean, you had Tyreek Hill. You had who was the Jamar Chase?
I had Jamar Chase with 52. I had DJ Moore with 49.
DJ Moore was the 49 I was thinking of.
Adam Thielen with 27. My defense had 24. My quarterbacks put up 20 at least.
He knows it down the guy right down
I've been staring at that score.
You've been looking at that. Yeah, you dethroned me for the top record. I think I held it for 3 weeks.
What was your score?
223.
Okay, so I beat it by 13.
Yeah, you are the record holder for in all of history of the Chase for the Chip Fantasy Football League.
And that's with Austin Eckler on IR. That's with Aaron Jones on the bench. There's a lot that could have put me a little bit higher there. But we'll take it. We're not going to fucking cry over spilled milk, and we're not going to get greedy. It was a good week. Everybody else is going to come through. I think the top score to beat this year is going to be right around 250. I think somebody's going to come around with a couple running backs that do 30s, wide receivers that hit 30s, and a quarterback that just has a monster game. That's
possible.
I don't know if it's going to hold all season, but it's good for now.
I think it's going to hold all season. I think it's obviously a very beatable record. It's going to happen. Like, this is the 5th week.
Yeah. But
I think that's a big one, and I think it'll be there all season. Like, you had your defense went off. Everybody went off.
Everybody showed up. There wasn't really a bad spot. The worst spot on the field was my kicker. I think we put up like 6 or 8, but he was the only one that went under double digits.
Well, yeah. So I guess that leads into the question: how do you feel about the current state of your? Well, wait, we didn't even get into the game. I'm jumping ahead of myself. We got excited there.
Yeah, we got a little. We blew our nut there for a hot second. But if we want to get into the game,
let's get into the game.
Very close game. When I looked at it last night, there was a 0.4 point differential. As of today, there's a 2 point differential. So Austin Eckler must be getting healthier.
I traded out. What I did was I was going to start Hopkins because he came off a monster week.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what he put up, but it was 22 points. He had 140 yards and not even with a touchdown. No touchdown either. So he put up a big game, but I might swap him back in just because I didn't know Addison was not questionable before I put him in. But I just thought he's been killing it without Jefferson.
Yep.
I mean, the guy's 31 without Jefferson. You know, he's getting 9. He had one stinker of a week, but 9 to 5 targets in that range.
Right around there.
That's with Jefferson playing, not without. So without Jefferson, that's gonna only increase it. And he was playing Chicago.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's throw him in there. We'll see. I might swap him out because Hopkins is playing Baltimore. So I don't know how I feel about it. That's another reason why I swapped him out. Now that just jogged my memory. I don't know what I'm gonna do with that situation.
I got some opinions on this game. I think we're obviously going to differ here.
Probably. I didn't expect that.
You know, Austin Eckler's coming off a bye. He's coming off 3 weeks of rest. He was healthy the week before the bye,
Still
but
questionable,
they
though.
wanted to rest him. He'll always have a Q next to his name. Don't you worry.
I've had Eckler.
If he plays, he's putting up at least 20 every
true.
time, but he's always going to have a Q next to his name. You're always going to have to sweat him out to the fucking 11th hour.
Yeah.
But I think from everything I'm reading, he's very confidently playing this week against a Dallas team that didn't look so good last week against the rush. You got Kenneth Walker against Cincinnati. You got Jamar Chase against Seattle. You got DJ Moore going against one of the worst defenses in the leagues. I think I have 4 guys with a matchup against a 30th ranked or higher defense this week. So I just like it based off matchups. I think I'm going to win. I think it's going to be as close as it gets. I think you may see over 300 points in this matchup, but I think I take it with a slight edge.
Well, you make a good argument, but I obviously have to ride with my squad. I got to go with my squad. I think you had two running backs on buys, but like you said, it's not going to affect you. Austin Eckler always has a Q by his name.
Yeah.
And you do have good matchups.
I got depth at the positions, man. I got depth at running back, and I got depth at wide receiver. Depth is important, too.
That's true. That's we were just going over it. I mean, we were talking about my wide receivers. Middleburg football team, you dropped Chris Godwin for some reason.
What are you doing?
I'll take him for 10 bones.
What are you doing?
Stephon Diggs, Keenan Allen, Jordan Addison, DeAndre Hopkins, Michael Pittman Jr.
He's kind of overrated.
And Chris Godwin.
And we'll see what he does. But you can't drop Chris Godwin after he has 19 points.
That's 6 stars.
Targets.
Just at wide receiver, I got a squad. I am open for trades. I'm willing to shop these dudes. Me and Austin were talking about film. Yeah, it's the best wide receiver core in the league, but it's not the best wide receiver starters in the league because I can only put 3 of them. Yeah. Depth-wise, it's great. I can't start all these guys. But let's shop them because we already talked about some teams who are hurting for wide receivers, Snyder. Let's talk, dog.
Yeah, and it's important, too, when you're looking at the waiver wires, look at guys who just had their number 1 go down, and then look at who's behind them. You know, this past, I put $5 on Emmy DiMercato, and James Conner's out for 4 weeks. So he's going to be the starter for the next 4 weeks in that system that they give touches to the running back. So it's about volume. It's about looking at who's doing what when. You know, I shopped a couple of my tight ends and got Logan Thomas because there was good shit on the market. So I'm not willing to make some moves.
No, yeah, I hear you absolutely, but I just got to give it to my squad. I mean, I don't really have too much. I think I got great quarterback starters. My running backs have been cooking all year. My wide receiver have been cooking. Darren Waller's coming off a good game. 49ers defense against Cleveland. Cleveland's been known to have stinkers. And, Tyler Bass, Bills are going to put points on the Giants.
Yeah, I just mean Jamar Chase, DJ Moore, Adam Thielen, Hawkinson, Kenneth Walker.
I hear you. I can see why you would go with your squad.
I'm feeling good. I think they're going to put over 200.
I think your squad could get. I wouldn't be surprised. Your squad. I'm high on your squad right now. They're cooking. I mean, you've been scoring crazy points even in losses. Your records doesn't show it, but I think you are one of the better teams in the league. You're just not as good as Captain Commish, number 1 team in the league. But yeah, I mean, so we already kind of went into it. I did have a question for you. Actually, before I get into that, so let's just name our picks quick so we could, if anybody wanted to recap. I went Captain Commish over Joseph for the Chip. I baked Vet over Coys. Alan D. Jens over Touch of Downs. Riggy Riggs over Middleburg Football Team. And Snow Bunnies over Calendar.
All right, mine's pretty similar. I got Jones in for the Chip. I got Baked Vet. I got Al, D. Jens, I got the Middleburg Football Team, and I got Snow Bunnies.
All right. Well, there's the predictions right there. So, I mean, like I said, I've already tried saying it twice, actually. I keep just jumping to it.
Yeah.
How do you feel about your team in the current state?
So I got some stats for my team, and I'm just gonna go ahead and read them off. Here I'm not gonna be bashful about reading here. My team's a wagon. All right, we've been underperforming week in and week out, and we've still been putting up points.
Yeah.
But coming forward, we got favorable matchups. Jones is a bum. I'm getting real sick of Aaron Jones. I'm about to drop his fucking ass if he doesn't pick it up. But I'm a little light on RBs, but we've worked that out. I already got Emmy DiMercato. I'd say I'm feeling real high on my team. I'll save the stats for the next question. Actually.
No, I totally would agree. I mean, you are second in scoring, and you're 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Well, we have guys like Big Veteran who their points scored for points against differential is minus 110, yet are 4 and 1.
That's bad.
It's so
lucky. It's so lucky.
It doesn't make sense.
I'm not trying to be a hater on your team either, but being on the other end of the stick of that and having 714 points put up against me as well. I see you're just over me now, Big Vet, but that's because I just dropped 236 points on you. But it's a lot of points. It's top 5 in the league with points against. I think that's going to change eventually. I think my guys are going to start to score more. So I'm feeling good.
No, I can see you guys rising up a little bit. You think your squad's got what it takes to be a playoff squad?
Yeah. So this is where I was actually going to get into the stats. So playoffs are the bar minimum for this team.
Okay.
Yeah.
The bar minimum.
It's the bar minimum for this team. We started out 0-3. We're 2-0 in the last 2 weeks.
Yep.
We have a tough matchup this week. Not going to even underplay it, but moving forward, we got a favorable matchup. But you got guys like Big Vet who are going to fall. You got guys like Koi's who are going to fall. Snow Bunnies is going to remain up there. I don't know. I'm high on Tanner's team, but it's up to what he does in the market. I think I'm going to fall right in that 3 or 4 spot if I can continue to win games like this, maybe up into the second spot. So we'll see. We're second in scoring by only 12 points. We're tied for 4th in points against. Week 1, we lost by 5. I was the 3rd highest scorer. Week 2, we lost by 5. Jamar Chase was injured. Zay Jones got injured when I started both of them. So both of them got injured in the games, got sent out. Yeah. So goosed out. Week 3, 3rd highest scorer. Week 4, stinker. Week 5, put the league on notice.
All right, that's fair. This boy came prepared. This guy came. Look at him. He's got the Clark Kent look. He's got the glasses. Don't fuck with my man. He's got the answers.
We're ready to roll.
That's what it is. So aside from yourself, then straight up, is there any other teams in the league that you think, hey, watch out, that record ain't right. Mm-hmm. This team ain't what you think it is?
Yeah, I got a few. Al's team, they have some good squad, but he needs some help at running back. John, I really like John's squad. If he picks up or finesses a trade for, a better flex. I mean, I forget who he has at flex right now, but it's nothing. I think it's Mike Thomas, Riggy Riggs. Which Michael Thomas is a good name. He's getting 10-ish points a game, but this year at wide receiver, guys, the best guys are putting up 20 plus. So at 38th ranked, I think you could find a better on the market right now, better in free agency and better in a trade. But if he continues to make the trades that he's making, I think he's going to rise up. Weaver's going to go as Justin Jefferson goes, but I'm not terribly high on that team. So
you know what's crazy? He's got great running backs. The QB situation's horrendous.
It's really bad.
With Justin Jefferson, the wide receiver's not that bad. If I go to not Riggy Rich, Touchdown's team,
right there towards the bottom.
Got it right here.
1 and 4, so he's towards the bottom.
Damn. But, I mean, if you put Jahmyr Gibbs, what a bummer that was. What a bummer of a draft that was.
David Montgomery in John's squad, it's another reason why I like John's squad. He's got studs everywhere.
Right.
It's just not it.
But, I mean, touchdowns, wide receivers. You got Tank Dell. He's 25. He's a target CDH right. It's under the radar, but, I mean, he's putting up games.
Putting up good games.
He's putting up games. You got Tank Dell. You got Marquise Brown, who balled out like he's 12.
He did.
T. Higgins.
That's what I mean. Like, what are you doing with T. Higgins out there?
But with Justin Jefferson, there's no T. Higgins. So I'm saying with Justin Jefferson, this team, Dak Prescott, Matt Stafford, Kyle Pitts, this team is so serviceable.
It is serviceable.
Not last in the league. Like, that's not a last in the league team with Justin Jefferson.
Is that Touchdowns team?
That's Touchdowns.
Hey, so you might be on the calendar.
That's what I said. I said Ace is on the calendar, dude. That team will win more games.
But I think Marquise Brown is going to slow down. I think T. Higgins.
Who else they got?
I think after this video, at least, you'll get T. Higgins the fuck out of your squad.
Yeah, you have to. Marquise Brown's only slowing down if he gets hurt. There's no other options on that Cardinals team.
Yeah, you also got to hope that Tank Dell continues to look good and C.J. Stroud continues to look as good as he has.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
You just got to. It's just one of those teams that is like an injury away. So it scares me.
You know what really sucks is if David Montgomery is cooking for Riggy Riggs.
So good.
And that's killing Michael for such an early draft pick on Jahmyr Gibbs.
You can't blame him, though, with how the announcers and all the, talking heads spoke about Jahmyr Gibbs and how high he went in the draft. You had to imagine he was going to get more touches than that.
Especially how good the Lions look.
But, can we go to Riggy Riggs' team, actually? Because his team was one of the ones that I'm pretty high on it, honestly. Justin Fields is going to continue to put up monster games. They've let him start running the ball, so he's going to continue to do that. Baker's look good. Kamara is one of those guys that's going to take a ton of touches. David Montgomery's amazing. A.J. Brown. Debo is going to keep coming alive. Mark Andrews is great. He just needs to pick up a flex, and he's really rolling. He's got some good depth on the bench. I don't know. I like that team. I think he's going to continue to win games.
Yeah, I've essentially been saying the same situation the whole time. I mean, he's just been plagued by injuries, like you said. Mm-hmm. That quarterback situation is horrendous, though. Justin Fields could continue his success, but he showed bad Justin Fields.
He has shown bad Justin Fields.
And then you got Baker Mayfield, who has looked okay.
He has.
He hasn't looked bad, but it ain't, this isn't a world breaker fucking.
No, and I mean, for as bad as the NFC South is, they got good defenses, most part.
Yeah,
Saints,
so
Falcons.
that QB team, that could hurt him if he doesn't get it. I mean, I saw him put money on Desmond Ridder earlier, who apparently is a higher QB rank than Baker Mayfield.
There you go.
So maybe against Washington or against Detroit. I don't know. That's something to think about.
You got to look at those matchups.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, we were talking about Snyder. So I think you're on my page. We think he's going to be the last. You want him anything specific when we got Snyder on the calendar? What do you want to see, dude?
So
I feel like we should all pick a month. That we get to pick what
he wears. We should all pick a month. That may be a better way to do it and then whoever wins gets to pick 2 or 3, whatever the match.
Yeah. The winner can also pick the 2 extra.
They can pick the good holidays or whatever they want to pick.
December.
The first pick. So when I initially was thinking about this, I was thinking Mike, and I was thinking him in like a gay cowboy assless chaps
I can see that. I'd like that.
Gun, or like a gun,
smoking guns.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
But with Asa,
I gotta see a fireman, bro.
I was like, you call me cliche, call it whatever you want, bad comedy, but it'd be fucking hilarious to see you in a fire outfit.
Yeah, dude, I gotta see
a big hose between your legs, dude, just spraying fucking water.
The burning bush.
Oh,
I gotta see
the burning bush. Yeah, maybe grow it out too for the rest of the season, just in case.
Just
that
pubage.
way, whatever firefighter outfit you have, you can
just
have
show
like,
little
pubage and have the fire hose.
Yeah, just little pubage, tasteful pubes.
Man, we gotta talk about something else.
Getting hot.
Getting hot and heavy in here.
So that leaves us. I know Asa is familiar with football, but I don't know how competitive he's ever been in real competitive leagues or anything. I know he's done some stuff with work and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on the new guys? You got Tan, Laraway, Brody, Asa. Michael, how do you think they're hanging up? How do you think they're doing?
I went through their teams. I went through some of their matchups. I went through some of the moves they've been making. I think Jake Laraway is a dark horse to win. The whole thing. He's
got a good team.
His team is stacked. He's making moves. He's doing the right things. He's not complacent. He's active in free agency and trades. His team has studs with high use rates. So I think he's been the most impressive of all of the new guys.
I would absolutely agree.
Moving from there, Tanner, he's the classic, good, very good, but not good enough team. He's gonna rock right around the bubble of Willie.
He's like the team to beat. You gotta score 135 and you'll get the win.
I think Tanner's gonna get the first one out of the playoffs, so it's gonna be the one that you really gotta gauge yourself.
That's where I have them in my power rankings.
If you want them to be, playoff contenders. But I like his enthusiasm. He's had great enthusiasm the whole time. He's been super into it, so I've loved what he's done. Brody, not cool, not chilling with the boys.
Yeah, he don't come to nothing. You're going to find that out the hard way. He don't come to nothing.
Not cool, not chilling with the boys. I left a little early because Jake was being mean to me.
The Jets look good.
Nah, bro, I'm just an adult with responsibilities, and I can't just be leaving dogs around.
That's hilarious. So what do you think of
Brody? I like his team. He's got a good team. He's one CMC injury from disaster. I'm just going to put that out there. His team is very contingent on CMC.
I'm down on Brody.
The QB situation is bleak. He's got the least points scored against in the entire league, so he's had the most luck so far.
Yep.
He's done everything perfect so far, so can he continue to do that? Michael, I love how into it is, but your team is a little rough at the moment. You need to make a couple moves. You need to pray Justin Jefferson gets healthy, because if he comes back and is injured again, things are looking bleak for your team. But I also love your enthusiasm.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love how into it you've been. I love the moves that everybody's been making. Everybody's embraced it wholeheartedly.
Absolutely. From no football to all the football.
Yeah, right.
They went
from
0 to 100, and they've handled it fucking great.
You have.
Dude, Tanner's texting me like, yo, this guy missed practice. I'm like, you didn't know that guy was 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Tanner's just sitting there fucking in his GPS truck, just swerving all over the road, dude. Everybody's getting their packages dented because Tanner's sitting there reading the waiver wire. I love it. I love it. I love how into it they've all been. It's not easy to just throw yourself into a new sport, and
especially with veterans.
Yeah, and I wasn't sure how active everybody was going to be in the league either. It's not always everybody's not always active in a league. Sometimes you just kind of play in silence. Like I know my league's like that a lot of the time. So it's been good to have a little change of pace and have an active league with some shit.
Right. It just, in my opinion, makes it so much more fun.
Yeah, 100%.
Like trying to get the boys together at every chance you can. It's hard getting 10 dudes, adult dudes.
It is
with responsibilities to like, hey, this day everyone try to do something.
Right. Try to come all hang out.
Yeah.
I know I threw some shots at some teams, but everybody else is going to get their chance to come on here and throw their shot at my team. So I got to fucking throw the darts while I'm up here.
That's true. That's true.
But I have enjoyed it with you boys, and I've appreciated how much the new guys have ran into it head first.
Absolutely. And there's going to be more years. It's going to suck, for your Aces and Michaels who aren't looking great their first year, who giving it their all, and they're not seeing the product.
We almost might have to go to a system where draft order for the next year.
That could work. We could do that. Maybe that's something the league wants to vote on. I like that, and we could do that every year, and like you said, draft order. So whether you like the first pick or not, though, I don't like the first pick personally.
It's true. Maybe it's just like you get first pick of your pick.
That's true. Yeah, you could select. Right. I kind of like that idea.
On a whiteboard, and whatever's taken's taken.
I kind of like that a lot. So let's just hop into the power rankings. I know we could probably bang this out because we've already talked pretty in depth about everyone's squad. So I'll go with mine right now. So I got Captain Commish, me number one. I mean, let's just get right to the smoke and mirrors here. There is no smoke and mirrors. I am the best team. Points for, I'm the top scorer of the league by 30 points. Or no, 12 points.
How about those points against?
The points against has been my favorite. I'm lucky. I'm third lowest.
I'm just saying, you've been talking about luck, but a lot of other guys out here.
But I'm also points for.
Luckiest.
I'm not Coys. Yeah. I'm number one.
Do we got a points differential here? I wish we did. We should.
That would be cool if that was a stat. Yeah, we could hit Excel up on that one.
Yeah, we'll do that after the video. We'll patch that shit in. Jake's gonna edit that shit.
So I'm going number one. I mean, I am number one if you even look at the season stats. Then I'm going Snow Bunny's number two. I think he's gonna be hot. Like we already talked about it. Snow Bunny's 2. I got Coy's 3. Record only essentially. I do power rankings essentially like, when you're going up against this guy, is he a top dog or not? Like, regardless if Brody's team's not that great, you see the 4-1, you want to beat the 4-1.
That's fair.
So I got Coy's 4. Same with Bake Vet. He's in the same boat. Mm-hmm. Bake Vet's 4. I got Middleburg football team at 5. Same boat. And then I got Jones for the chip. Your squad, your record doesn't show it, so people are going to sleep on the record. But I got you top of the dog pile of those records that aren't 4-1.
Yeah,
I got you top of the dog pile. I got you with 6.
Yeah.
I think if you win another game, you're jumping ahead of a team who's got one more win than you. Like if you beat me this week, you're going up.
Yeah. Well,
I got Alan Degenerates at 7, Riggy Riggs at 8, Touchdowns at 9, Calendar at 10.
All right. So I did my rankings a little differently. I didn't do them just based off of where everybody is right now.
I also did points for.
I did points for. I did points against. I looked where you are now. I looked at what I thought you'd be at the end of the season. And that's kind of how I went.
So you're doing a full year power.
No, it's everything. No, I would say it's just everything mixed into one. I think it's like a formula, right? It's how have you done? How many points have you scored? How many points have gone against you? Are you active in free agency? Are you not active in free agency? And then ultimately, how does your team look going forward? Do you have a wide receiver heavy team? Do you have a run back heavy team? Do you have guys that are on the injury list? Do you guys not?
Right.
So I'm kind of looking at that. So with that, I think I'm number one. I scored the most points last week.
So you're saying 2 and 3. You're number 1 in the power rankings.
Yep.
That's tough to validate.
Yep.
This power
That's fair enough.
squad.
You know, I'm second in scoring.
Okay.
And I'm second in scoring by 12 points.
Yep.
I'm up there in points against. I haven't had good luck, so I think that.
So you're saying your record's skewed, which I would agree.
Yeah. I haven't had my 2 top running backs all year in Eckler and Jones, and I just think my team moving forward. Joe Burrow's looks healthy. They're targeting Jamar. DJ Moore's proven himself week in and week out over the last 5 weeks. I got guys with good volume that are healthy, so I just like my team.
Yeah.
Behind me, I got Cap Kamish. I think that's an easy second. His team's solid. He's scored the most points, even though he hasn't really had that many points against. But his team is solid. His record shows it, so he's there. Snow Bunnies, I got you third. You're my dark horse to win it. If I don't win it, I hope you do. Riggy Riggs at 4. His team is 1-4 currently. He's got a favorable schedule coming up. He's got guys healthy. He's got big pickup moves. He knows the game. He watches the games. I got him 4. Coys, I got you 5. 4-1. You do have a solid squad, but you know it's just you need a little bit more depth and just a little bit more movement. And you've gotten real lucky with the points scored against so far this year. After that, I got Tan at the Middleburg football team. Behind him, I got Al. After that, I got Baked Vet. I know you're 4-1. But you scored 600 points all year.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's and your team is just too many Eagles, and it's just rough. After that, I have touch of downs, and then calendar. Hey, so you're gonna be on the calendar. I talked myself out of it throughout the episode. I was gonna come in here and say Michael, but I think it's going to be you, so.
That's wild. That's wild, right? So our power rankings obviously different a lot. So I feel like you put a lot of future rankings ahead of like where you. That sounds like a yearly recap of rankings.
I put the most weight on points for and points against because I think that's just a big indicator of what your team is and what your team isn't. You know, the numbers are going to shake out. We're still only 5 weeks into this thing. We're still so fresh into it.
Yeah,
like 4 wins, 4-1 looks great. But you lose 4 games, now you're 4-5, and you're less than 500, and it happens like that.
Right. I mean, not even to go that extreme. I mean, you lose 2 games, you're 4-3.
Yeah.
And now your record does not look that sexy. And now you're barely playoffs. There's only 4 teams that are going to go to the playoffs.
Yep.
Until we get 12 in this fantasy league, I can only do top 4. I can't do a bye week and fucking make it some weird shit. There's only so many weeks of football.
Yep.
So
by like week 9, week 10,
that's when you're going to see like this
of who's
you're going to have the top 2. These are the guarantees going in, and you're going to have like a battle of 4 or 5 teams. Like which one of those guys are going 100%. In? So I get it. So your stuff kind of looked like a full picture-esque prediction of where it was.
Yeah, and if you really go along with the points for and points against, and you look down at it,
up pretty good.
It goes pretty close to it.
You just had, I think, Allen ahead of Coys.
Yep.
And everything bumping down, and then you bumping way up.
I had Riggs way up there because I think his team's going to start scoring. I had Tanner up a little higher. I think his team's going to start scoring. I had touchdowns a little lower. I think his team might fade. But for the most part, it's right around there. And, we'll see how it goes the rest of the year.
But yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for coming over, man. I appreciate you for confiding in the commish. This has been, I think, one of the best episodes.
I appreciate
so
that.
This has been really good.
I did my homework.
Absolutely. You came with the notes, dog. You came with the notes. You got to love that.
Show for you fellas, so...
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you again for coming on, and hopefully everybody has a good week, except for you, sadly.
Yeah,
I gotta whoop that ass. I gotta whoop that ass.
Fucking hell. You know we're going to be watching the games this Sunday.
Yep. All right, guys. Peace.
Peace.